How's it going, guys? I'm Zach. I am one of the territory sales managers here with Kalogon. Thank you for joining us today. Before we get started, I want to take the time to introduce our clinical advisor, Kelly Wall, who will be joining me today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kelly Waugh. I'm a physical therapist, and I've been acting as a clinical advisor to Kalogon for about the last year and a half. So I'm excited to be here and just be able to. I'm going to sit in the wings, but if somebody has a question that's a little bit more clinical, then I can pop up and try to answer that. Also, just wanted to let you know that we at Kalogon have started a new program called Expert Insight. And there's a link that just popped up on your screen. So basically, you can book a one-on-one consult with me, kind of like a little private consult, whether you're a supplier, a clinician, or an end user, a consumer. If you want to bring difficult case that you're struggling with, you want some advice. If you're an end user and you're not quite sure where to even start, you're frustrated, you're dealing with an issue. It doesn't have to be about Kalogon products. It can be about anything. Yeah, it's super easy. You can just book a 30-minute slot with me.
Awesome.
Alrighty.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Kelly. Like she said, that link's going to be at the bottom down here. So if anyone's interested, please just click on that link down below to book a 30-minute time with Kelly. We're going to take a few minutes to let some people join in. But while we're getting ready, if you want to, just send a little chat in here. Let us know where you're from. We love knowing where our viewers are from and see if we've been out to your area recently. We're located here in Melbourne, Florida. So we actually just recently moved buildings. So I am in our new facility in my new office today. So really cool and exciting to be able to work from the new office this week. So a lot of big things happening at Kalogon. And yeah, please chat in. Don't be nervous. Share how you heard about Kalogon. Right now we have a little poll up. So far, nobody has answered the poll. So maybe if, we have some good poll and questions in the chat, we can do a little giveaway at the end like we used to do in a couple of our live Q&As. So yeah, just feel free to chime in. Let us know where you're from, how you heard about Kalogon, and we will get started here shortly. We're going to go over our three products that we have. We have the Orbiter Med, which is our E2609 coated cushion. We're going to go over our new product, the Bondar by Kalogon, which is our E2617 coated back. And then we also have our booster, which is our KO108 accessory for static single-celled air cushions. So I'll give everybody a minute to join in, and then we will go ahead and get started. And throughout the whole process, through the live Q&A, if you have any questions, feel free to chime in the chat, ask away. And then if it gets too clinical for me, I will chime in to Kelly. She'll be able to really provide some really great insight on the clinical side. Yeah. So thank you all again for joining us today, and we will get here started here shortly. We'll also in the chat, we'll share all of our socials at the end, any upcoming events we're going to be at. I know part of our sales team right now is out in Albany, out in New York for one of the shows out there. Forget what show it is. Tracy might be able to help me in the chat. But Carla and Andy are out there today. Andy's going to be our other territory sales manager for Kalogon. So we kind of split the country up right in the middle. I manage groups like the Target Mobility Group and Southwestern Medical, and Andy has groups like the Brewis Group. He has Connect Medical, as well as like Rabson Group up in New York and stuff like that. So we have independent reps in every state right now besides Colorado, Wyoming, and Utah. So if you have any great independent reps that you know in those states, feel free to share that info as well in the chat. We're always looking to bring some new reps on in the territories we don't have any coverage right now. All right, so looks like we had some people join in, and we got someone to answer the poll. So thank you for that. We're going to go ahead and get started on Orbiter Med. So I'm going to keep the chat open just in case anyone does have any questions during it. Feel free to write in, cut me off, anything like that. So Orbiter Med is going to be our E2609 coated cushion. What that means is it's a custom configured cushion. So the base layer of the cushion is going to be what you customize through our order form. So we can do things like lateral thigh supports, lateral pelvic supports. We can do a medial pommel. We can do a pre-ischial ridge, which adds about an inch to the front of the cushion. We could do things for like discrepancies for different customizations there. And then we could even get really custom like off of our order form. So if you have something you think we might be able to help you with, please reach out to the independent rep in your area or reach out to us directly and we can talk with the engineers and see if we can make that custom base work. But on top of that custom base, we're going to have 5 different air cells that sense how you're sitting and do pressure reliefs every 2, 3, or 5 minutes. The air cells are located under your thighs and under your seating surface. So there's one in the front for the thighs and then 4 along the back for your seating surface. And the one in the air cell in the thighs won't actually do the pressure reliefs. The ones in the front will just sense how you're sitting. They might make some adjustments, but they won't totally deflate to promote anyone to like lean forward. But the air cells in the back are going to be sensing how you're sitting and doing pressure reliefs every 2, 3, or 5 minutes. What that means is it takes the pressure you have it set to, drops you down to 0, holds you there for 2, 3, or 5 minutes, goes back up to your set pressure, holds everything static for 2, 3, or 5 minutes again, and then goes on to the next cell. This gives you a very targeted relief in that specific area. And we've seen through our different journal articles and studies that when those cells do those reliefs, it is kind of augmenting that motion and giving a nice blood flow there. So we've seen it be really helpful with active pressure injuries as well as help preventing new ones from forming. You can see on this picture here in the app, you can go in there and adjust the specific cells for your body type. So let's say if you have an existing pressure injury, you can go into the phone app, drop the pressure underneath like your back right IT to compensate for that injury, and then you'll get those pressure reliefs throughout the remaining cells, giving you the element of motion to keep blood flowing and skin nice and healthy. Another cool part of the cushion is the ambient sensors. So if you're going from like a nice warm house to the cool outside, the cushion will actually sense the change in temperature and automatically adjust the air pressure inside your cushion based on any changes there. It'll also sense altitude changes. So if you're up in an airplane or if you're going on a road trip through, the Rocky Mountains in Denver, all those changes in altitude as you go up and down, the cushion will actually sense that and automatically vent or deflate based on that as well. Okay, I got a question here from Tim. Let me just answer this real quick. My supplier is getting me the booster next week for my Roho high profile. Can I do the whole setup just from the phone app? No button pushing on the booster itself. Remember my pressure time. I park my. Wish you guys were really be interesting. So yeah. So for the booster, yeah, you can use it the whole setup from the phone app. You could just using the booster, which I have right here. You're able to hold this back button down, which would then go into pairing mode. And then using the Kalogon app, you just search for the device, and then you're able to pair it right there using the same app. If you already have it downloaded for like an Orbiter Med, it's going to be the same app, and you just connect your booster, and then you can inflate that Roho and then save the pressure and then not worry about using the app every day. So the nice thing about the booster, which I'll get into a little bit more later, is it's a very forgiving. Not forgiving. It's it's a device that you can just set up once and never have to worry about it again in reality. We know for static air cushions, it's going to be relatively one set pressure for that end user. So using the booster, you will set the pressure inside the air cushion, and then the booster is going to maintain and manage that clinically set pressure. So once you set it up, the only maintenance on it is just to make sure that the hose is fully installed and attached over the open valve of the Roho, and then make sure it's charged. The booster itself will actually not have like an off button. So every day when you get off of your cushion, the booster will actually sense that and kind of go into a rest mode. And then whenever you get back on your cushion the next day, it'll chime and go back on and make sure you're at your properly set level. So you don't have to worry about turning it on each day. You just have to make sure that you keep it charged. There's about a 7-day battery life with the booster. Great question, though. And I'll dive back into the booster some more. But yeah, great question. If anyone has any more questions about the booster, feel free to chime in as well. But for the Orbiter Med, just going back to that, the Orbiter Med, is with those ambient sensors, there's also sensors that are going to sense the user and how they're sitting and how they're shifting in their cushion. We know each person sits different each day. Your body changes over time, so your cushion should be adapting around you as well. So let's say if you lean to the right, lean to the left, add some weight to your lap, the cushion will actually sense that change in weight and posture and automatically adjust the air cells based on how you're sitting. So let's say if you start putting more pressure on like your back right IT, it'll sense that and lower that pressure a little bit so you're not having a hot spot in that area. So it's a very forgiving cushion. It's very compensating. It's not going to try to add pressure to push you back into place, but it will kind of allow you to sit different and kind of reduce some pressure if you're putting more in one spot rather than the other. And then with our phone app, you can also adjust those redistribution settings in there as well. So say if you didn't want them to be every 2 minutes, you could go to our 3 or 5 minute mode. For the 2 minute mode, we're seeing an average of about 16 to 18 hours of battery life. The 3 minute mode, about 18 to 20 hours. And the 5 minute mode, about 22 to 24 hours. So it really is just depending on how often you want the cushion to be doing those pressure reliefs for you. And when it means the 2 minutes, like I said earlier, that'll be one cell every 2 minutes. So it's not going to be like all 4 cells every 2 minutes. It'll be one at a time. Do we have any questions on Orbiter Med? We can do anything from a 15 by 15 to a 27 by 27 in size. So weight capacity is about 550 pounds right now. We have done some over that weight capacity. So if you have anyone like that, just reach out to myself or the independent rep in your area. We can see if we can make it work for you. Currently, we can't get any smaller than 15 by 15, but we are working to be able to help some more pediatric users in the future. And then some accessories before we've totally shipped over. In the picture here, you can see the XLR charger, which is a little adapter that we have, which allows you to charge the control unit directly from the XLR port of the power chair. So with Orbiter Med, it does have an external control box, which has all the electronics, the pumps, the sensors, all the brains of the cushion are going to be in this, and this gets mounted to the back of your power chair underneath a manual chair. We provide a 3D printed mount kit as well as a mount pouch for that, so you can kind of find any surface to mount it on the back of the wheelchair. And yeah, this is going to always stay attached to the cushion, and then it just gets charged overnight, and that's going to be the main maintenance of the cushion. For any cleaning, you can take off the outer cover. It's fully machine washable. We recommend using cold water and then air drying. And then the incontinence cover, you can just clean with any disinfectant. We don't recommend washing the incontinence cover because there is a layer of sunmate foam sewn into that, which could get damaged if you use a washing machine. But if we have no questions in the chat on Orbiter Med, I will go ahead and move on to Bondar, which is our newest product at Kalogon. So I have a Bondar right here, actually. So Bondar is our E2617 coated backrest. So it's custom configured. We can get really custom with it, or you can be really minimal and kind of still satisfy that code with the Bondar. So it's all order form based. The cool thing about Bondar is the ordering process and the tool that we provide. So on our website, to get a Bondar ordered and quoted, you'll actually use our Launchpad tool, which is going to provide a 3D model of the Bondar as you're customizing it. So say as you're going through the order form, you're choosing your laterals, and say you need like a 3-inch lateral on your right side, and like an 8-inch lateral on your left side. You can get really custom with those asymmetrical laterals. And then we can do things like backrest reliefs. We can do biangular features. So you can get really custom with the Bondar, as well as we can do different width customizations to accommodate for inner widths to really capture the hourglass shape of a person. So you can get extremely custom with the Bondar. And then with the Launchpad, you actually see exactly what you're customizing there in real time. So that's been really awesome feedback early on, is just like the time-saving aspect and seeing that model when the ATPs, the clinicians, are customizing it with their end user and getting that feedback. They can work together and make those adjustments right there and see it in real time. So that's really a cool feature we're hearing so far with Bondar. But on this one that I have here, we're going to have different release hardware. So this is our quick release hardware. We offer a fixed hardware as well as adapter plates for power wheelchairs. So it can currently mount on power and manual chairs. Whenever you're ordering the Bondar, we just ask that you let us know which type of wheelchair it's going to be mounted on. That way we can make sure it's compatible with it. Right now, for our adapter plate, we're fully compatible with Promobile and Quantum chairs. We're compatible as well with Amy Lior tilt and space chairs, and we're waiting just for some different files to be able to work with the Amy Lior fixed chairs. But for any manual chairs that have back canes, you just let us know the distance between your back canes, and then we're able to make sure the Bondar is going to fit on that. Trying to think of some other things about the Bondar. We can do anything from a 12 by 12 up to a 25 by 25, so we can get a little bit smaller with the Bondar. We're working at getting even smaller right now. So if you had someone that needed a Bondar that was smaller than 12 inches, feel free to reach out to myself or the independent rep in your area, and we can work with the team and see if we can make something happen. But any questions on Bondar so far? I wish I had some like screenshots of the launch pad to show you guys, because it is a really cool tool, and it's free for anyone to go access. So if you go on the Kalogon website and then go through our medical pages and then go down to Bondar, you can then click on like request a quote, and then from there it takes you to the launch pad, and you can really get custom with it. You can play with the tool, see what we can really do with it. Bondar is going to be a nice middle ground for some people that you might not necessarily want to put in like an off the shelf back, and that they might not need to be molded. Bondar is going to be a great kind of right in the middle product right there. So if you have any questions about it early on, please feel free to reach out to us. We're still, in the process of getting demos out there and servicing accounts. And here's the Launchpad screenshot right there. So it is really cool. So you can see all the different tabs that we have that you can go in there and make different customizations. And like I mentioned earlier, if you wanted to, you can keep it really simple and go level 1, where we're just going for a standard inner width measurement, or you can get really custom and go level 2, and that's where you can get more hourglass shape and really get contoured to the user's body and make those really intimate customizations. And then Tracy provided that link down below. Any questions so far on Bondar or Orbiter Med? Because those are going to be our 2 products that are coded for insurance reimbursement. Our 3rd product has a miscellaneous code, so we're seeing in some cases in some states they have been able to get reimbursement for it. But our 3rd device is the booster, which I briefly spoke about earlier when Tim asked that question. But the booster is going to be a KO108 coded product, so it's a miscellaneous code. MSRP on it's going to be about $500. But the booster is a really nice device for taking all the headache out of maintenance for air cushions. The biggest thing we were hearing from clinicians and ATPs was they would teach all the proper education on how to properly inflate an air cushion, but then when the customer would come back into clinic, it would be like a really rock hard balloon. It would be underinflated, so it was always really tough to get that pressure really dialed in. So the booster allows the clinician to set up the pressure relative to that patient and that cushion. They can save the pressure using the booster, and then that booster is going to maintain and manage that clinically set pressure until the booster dies. So there's a 7-day battery life on this. It has a USB-C charger, so you can charge it just about from anywhere on the go. And as long as this booster has a charge and turned on, it's going to be making sure that that air cushion is properly inflated. So it has some of the same sensors that the Orbiter Med has for the ambient sensors. It won't do pressure reliefs for you, but if it senses, you're moving around, you're shifting your weight, and like you're losing some air around the cushion, it's going to adjust that level for you to make sure you're properly inflated to that green bar that you see there on the app. So the one cool thing too is if you do have the booster app opened and paired to your device, you can see the live active pressure inside your air cushion. So if you notice it, like when you start the day, if it's a little bit lower, then you feel your booster turn on and start inflating, you could then see that bar start to rise inside the app. So it does give you that nice visual if you like to see the visual, make sure that your booster is working and properly inflating you. It will give you auditory alerts as well. So say if you have a leak in your booster or in your air cushion, the booster will actually tell you leak detected, but then keep you properly inflated at that clinically set level. So let's say you have a pretty big leak, it'll kill the booster's battery a little bit quicker. But say you have a little microscopic leak, the booster will take some time to recognize that. It will alert you, but then keep you properly inflated. And then once you're installing it, let's say if you forget to open up the valve of your air cushion, the booster will let you know there's been an airway block. So it does let you know for those issues. And then if you do have an issue like that, just let us know. There's an 18-month warranty on all components of our Orbiter Med as well as booster and Bondar. So if you have any issues, please reach out to us and let us know. But any questions so far? I know I've been rambling on a lot about the different products. I know we have some people in the chat that have either used the products before or have ordered them for some of their patients. So I would love to hear some feedback from anyone in the chat. If you've had any feedback at all from working with Kalogon to using our products, all that's always super beneficial and helpful to the team to make updates to make the products better. I know we have some upcoming pressure mapping studies where we're going to be taking some feedback from end users on some of our products and making some updates there. So we're always trying to learn and kind of make our products better and how we can, improve the cushion. So any feedback is always greatly appreciated. So don't be nervous to chat something in. Even negative feedback, that's always helpful as well. So. And since we got Kelly here, Kelly, do you have anything that you want to chime in, like about Bondar? I know you've spent some really good time with the team, just getting feedback and helping us really get Bondar launched out in the field. So, just anything you want to share?
I just think I'm super excited about Bondar, and because it's very, very different. I was in the clinic setting for 40 years before I retired, and I always found that there was a group of people that off the shelf didn't fit. They had some mild asymmetries, mild to moderate. Off the shelf didn't quite fit intimately enough. Mm-hmm. And when I say intimate, I mean really good contact, because their body shape was a little bit different. Either, wide hips, really narrow waist, wider up under the axilla where you might want lateral support. And so I typically ended up doing a custom mold with those folks. So and then that's, often an extra visit. And you're not really in control of that process once you send that mold out. And it requires a lot of skill to go through that shape capture process. So maybe you're somebody you don't have access to those tools in terms of molding bags and everything. You're not as comfortable. Client doesn't want to come back in. This allows you to get some custom shape by measurement. And you're not going to be able to address the needs of people with very complex fixed deformities and asymmetries. Those folks, you're still going to need to do a custom mold. But I think that the Bondar from Kalogon captures a whole group of people that are in the middle there. And I'm super excited about it. I was involved in the design. And so I'm really, really hoping for a lot of feedback from those of you who give it a try, because we're looking for positive feedback. What was difficult? What are there other things you'd like it to be able to do? That kind of thing. The cool thing about Kalogon is they're a small, newer company. They're very nimble. They care. They want to get it right, and so they do want to hear all that feedback, because they're constantly iterating and making changes and trying to make things better.
Yeah. Thank you, Kelly, for sharing that. That was
Sure.
very helpful. But yeah. One thing I wanted to make sure that I answered, I did notice came in, was a Q&A. Zach Frito, will the control box ever be mounted in the front of the cushion on top of the seat sling with no connecting cable, or in the front between one's upper thighs with a very short cable? The very long cable makes it difficult when moving the cushion from one side. Yeah, Zach, that's a great question. I know in the future we're hoping one day that could be a possibility. But yeah, I know right now with the cable, it is sometimes gets in the way, especially when transferring from cushion to cushion or chair to chair. So if you needed to ever get one like shortened, we can make the control box like the hose length shorter. But right now, unfortunately, since we do have that external control unit, the control like that hose will always kind of be there. One thing we tried to make nice with the control box with the Bondar is we have the cover actually designed to be able to fit the the control box nice and easy in the back of the Bondar and the cover. Um, so in that case, we could have a shorter hose length as well. But right now, just for the time being, um, I think that's always going to have to be there, unfortunately. Great question, though. Great question. Does anybody else have any questions for me or Kelly? No one does. I can give you guys back 5 minutes of your time, but I really want to make sure we leave the floor open, get every question answered. Again, I really appreciate you guys taking the time today to meet with us, listen to me blabble on about our products for a little bit. At Kalogon, we really do love what we're doing. I'm really passionate about it. So please, any feedback we really do take and try to implement to make the products better. So always reach out. You can always reach out to us through our website as well. Tracy, can you share like our socials and my email as well as Andy's? That way, if you're out in Andy's territory or in my territory, you can get in contact with us. Um, Right now, it's just me and Andy covering the country. It's kind of split up funky, so it's not like East or West Coast. So feel free to reach out. And if you reach out to me and it happens to be Andy's territory, I'll point you in the right direction as well to the proper independent rep. Um, and yeah, and thank you guys again so much for taking the time today for joining. And if you have any more questions, try to get them in before we end it. But if no one chimes in, we will go ahead and give you guys back about 3 minutes of your time. All right. Well, I don't see anything coming through, so I think we're going to call it, guys. Thank you so much for joining us this month, and look forward to seeing you guys on the next live Q&A next month.